Hello, and welcome to episode 73 of Friends of the Show. I am Stephen W. Skinner, and this is my podcast where I chat with some of the coolest people from online. This week's friend is British comedian and poker player Ken Cheng at Ken Cheng Comedy on Twitter. Now, you know I love a good chat about life in the UK. We talk about going to Cambridge for maths, how poker and comedy are similar, and we talk about how his very funny BBC radio special and comedy style are. We even get into his pioneering playwright great-grandfather. Now, this was a brilliant conversation. I love chatting with my British pals. Please check out all of Ken's stuff linked in the show notes. Now, try to ignore my British accents and enjoy Friends of the Show, episode 73, with Ken Cheng.
That's good. That's good to know that I don't have a vastly different voice.
It would have been off-putting if you showed up with like some super posh London accent or a completely different accent. You're like, oh, was that? It's
He's German.
That's the Ken Cheng character. Oh, I thought that was a whole character thing.
Dedicated character.
So I guess, yeah, the new podcast is a very chill intro. So welcome to the podcast, Ken. Talking to Ken Cheng.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right. Well, yeah, let's do a little bio. You're a British Chinese comedian and
correct
Twitch streamer now. Should we put that?
Yeah, sure, why not? I just only started on Twitch like a couple months ago, but
yeah, we'll talk about it. You're the top search result for Ken Cheng. I mean, that is amazing SEO. Even other people with less popular common names have trouble with that SEO, and you come right up to the top. You got a Wikipedia page. You got all the stuff. I don't know what you're doing, but you're doing it right.
Good. Although it is a worry, though. There is a Ken Cheng, I think, in America who is a writer who keeps popping up every time, like, they got a new... I think they've written for maybe an HBO show, so they might take over at some point.
They are popping up the SEO charts of Ken Cheng. I just opened it up right now, and obviously my recent search is popped to the top, but... Ken Cheng, Chinese comedian, comes up with your picture, and it says Ken Cheng - comedian. That is like you're verified by Google, basically.
That's perfect.
But above that, for me, I guess because I'm in Canada, there is Ken Cheng Restaurant, but comes up as Ken Cheng Restaurant. I guess a lot of people
that's interesting.
Might search for that Ken Cheng Restaurant in Quebec, in Laval.
Okay. Wow.
But you're right up there, Chinese comedian, plus your picture, which is amazing. I guess it's linked through the Wikipedia, and you get that little thing that comes up on the side with all your like the shortcut to Wikipedia.
Great. All I've ever wanted.
But that's pretty good. Like, there's nothing too suspicious that comes up. Like, there's not like Ken Cheng murder or whatever. It's like Ken Cheng poker,
I've covered all that.
Ken Cheng writer, which I guess is that American. Boo.
Yes.
And then it's you again, Ken Cheng flags. We'll get to it. And then Ken Cheng Twitch. So look, your Twitch is right up there.
Oh, good. That's nice.
You gotta be pretty happy with that. What's your Twitch following at right now? Because you said a couple months you've been doing it.
Yeah, I've got about 300 followers. I guess like maybe about like anywhere between like 5 and 20 regular watchers. I don't know. It's kind of
regulars. That's the key, right?
Yeah. Basically, you want as many of people coming back, and
yes.
I'm picking up slowly, like one by one.
Yeah, it's a long game. It's a long game.
It is a very long game.
Yeah, it's a grind. From what I see, like there's all the people who started right when it began, and those people who have stuck with it or whatever are like the top people now.
Yeah.
If you've been grinding it out, like doing your 3 videos a day every day or whatever your crazy like schedule is, where you're a pro streamer, like it was like, is it better than like going to an office and sitting in front of a computer, like going to your basement and sitting at your 3 monitors?
Slightly. I mean, it's less financially good, but you get to be your own boss.
That's true. Important. Coworkers are better, maybe. Like you get fun people dropping into the chat.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, the community on Twitch is amazing.
That's what I love. Love a good community, Ken. And that's where you're growing. So you got 200, but you got 5 or 10 solid base builders of your community. Do you have any stuff like emotes or like weird?
I don't have any custom. I don't know how to set up all that stuff. I need someone to run me through it. It's just all very confusing.
It seems like a lot, Ken. Like I've just dipped in. Like I just created my account maybe, I don't know,
amazing,
a month ago or something too, and I was just like, oh wow, like this is just so much customization and
Yep.
like control over your channel. And then like when you start looking at who the top streamers are, what they're doing, like their setups and stuff where you have special hardware to like go between chats and your pit stream stuff, whatever, like your stream buddy or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
all that's the teams, squads, all that stuff.
Man, it goes so deep. And I was just like, the different parts of the internet where you can go down a rabbit hole, but I was just like, I'll just like create a Twitch. Like, seems like a lot of people have it, I'll see who's streaming, like maybe dip in on a couple streams, and feel like, okay, if I want to like actually do it, I have to do it 3 times a week at least, like every week, like at least, and you have to be doing, you have to like hit your schedule. And it's funny because it like other things don't tell you like what you have to do. Like Twitter doesn't tell you like you have to tweet, like 3 or 4 times a day and engage with people and do all the things that you do to get a following and build a community. But Twitch is like, here, do this, like watch this video, and this is what you have to do. You have to like do this. You have to get 5 people talking to each other in the chat at once. Like how they gamify it, like with the rewards and medals is crazy.
Yeah. Even just getting the equipment is a barrier in itself. Getting the lighting, getting the right webcam, setting all up I guess you're like, it's sort of like halfway between other social media, but also you're sort of producing your own TV show or your own sort of radio show with a screen.
All of it, and it's so live, and it's always live. Like other things, like sort of like TikTok, whatever, Vine, the other video services, YouTube. It's all sort of geared towards pre-recorded stuff, pre-edited stuff with music going. This is like 100% live, or like nearly, or like live to tape, where you're watching a replay of a live thing, where it's like always live. Like that is a whole other thing, like you're saying, like a radio thing, but also people are watching you, so you don't have that benefit of radio where you can like look at your friend like, what the heck.
No, it's good and bad. I mean, like, I guess the alternative is like back in the day, if we didn't have this, you would have to try and if you wanted to have your own radio show, you'd have to like pitch that and know someone. But now anyone can do it, and that's really cool. Yeah,
the internet and the decentralization of that.
Big fan of
power.
decentralization.
Love
Big
it.
fan.
Power is coming down. What's the other word for it? Disruption. They're disrupting shit. Millennials are killing industries. And frankly, you love to see it.
I love to see millennials. I like to see all TV die.
Yep, rest in peace.
TV, radio industries both die and get reborn.
Yeah, it's not a death. It's like a metamorphosis. It's a phoenix rising from the ashes type thing. It's not going to go away. People are consuming more than ever. There's more of us, and we're all consuming the stuff. There's going to be a market for enough of it. So like it'll find its balance, but we're in this crazy, transitional period. And it's interesting to see who comes out on top and how it goes. But I guess we should mention the elephant in the room, global pandemic. How are you doing, Ken? How are you treating? You're over there in the UK, which you've come up with your own variant. We call it, so we call it the UK variant. You call it like COVID-19 and chips or something.
Yeah, the British just want to be, special, distinct. They want to be ahead of the curve. They want that special kind of, they want to be unique.
Well, they did get it. They got in the news.
Yeah, exactly. They want the attention. They want the British Empire back. And if they're not going to be the British Empire of colonizing other countries, they'll be the British Empire of creating their own variant.
Yeah, well, this will help take out some of these colonies.
Yeah, that's the plan. I think they're just like, let's get back India.
Yeah.
Let's get India back.
let's get them back. Let's knock them down a peg. Well, so now you have a variant there. We've all got multiple variants we're dealing with. The vaccines are starting to roll out, but there's a problem with that, especially here in Canada, where we are the worst at rolling out the vaccine. Like a study came out like last week.
That.
Yeah, let's study a week or two ago. Anyways, this is dating the podcast, but that Canada and its vaccine rollout is the worst out of all the people who are doing it.
Why is it so bad? Is it because it's a sparse?
I think it's like a combination of things, but I think it's due to like the government unpreparedness kind of thing. Like we're currently in like Ontario, which is like a big population center where like key demographics would be measured, and the guy who's running it is like a goofball. So you know how it goes with the goofballs. You got a goofball over there, right?
We've got a lot of goofballs. I'm just surprised that anywhere is more incompetent than the British government. That's
Yeah.
very surprising to me.
Well, you might have heard of Rob Ford, Toronto's mayor, made global headlines. He's a crack-smoking mayor.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah,
he
I
passed
remember the
away.
crack guy.
Yeah, so that guy, Rob Ford. So now we got his brother, who just slipped in there, riding the coattails. He just like, somehow he's like, I'm here too. And now they're like, oh, he's fine too. Just vote him in. And all of a sudden he got to be premier of the province. And so that's a big problem. It's a big problem for like a lot of things like, environment and education and a lot of like things that people, normally care about.
Premier of the province sounds like a very old-timey thing.
Exactly, yeah. So we're over here living in the colonial system still. And, yeah. Oh, well.
Lords.
Exactly, yeah. We still have
Feudalism.
people who wear those wigs and stuff, I think, though. I don't know, like, you started that, but...
yeah, exactly. And other people are just still doing it.
And we're just
It's
like,
our
yeah, there's nothing else. She's on our money. She's on our money. What do we do?
You can't stop her. And she's so far away, you can't actually
She's
rebel.
so far away. We have someone who represents her over here. And yeah, that person got in trouble recently, which is funny because they were like traveling during the pandemic or something. We're all in it, Ken. We're all in it.
Everyone loves to travel. We had an MP, member of parliament, get on a train after they discovered they had COVID, and they went on a train all the way from London to Scotland.
Oh,
a 5-hour train
way.
journey.
That's a long way.
Yeah. And it's literally an hour after the test, they just got on a train, and it was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get on the train and go home.
Oh, wow. Just like regardless.
Yeah.
Just like I know that I'm concerned enough to get a test, but
No, they even got the positive result, and they just got on the train.
that's bad.
That's
a
very
bad MP. I mean, so we're all dealing with that kind of stuff. So we're still dealing with it. But I know you're masking up. I know you're supporting local businesses. You're staying distant. You're standing on the little stickers in the store, shaking your head at people who are wearing the mask improperly.
Yep. That's all me. That's all me, baby.
Well, I'm just like, hopefully, like we're all dealing with this kind of stuff. The listeners are too. But hopefully we see some sort of light at the end of the tunnel. But it's like step forward, step back kind of situation. Yeah,
like we had the whole lifting of lockdown, then we had a second lockdown, and then we lifted that, and now we're in our third lockdown. So it's kind of like one step forward, 2 steps back, one step forward, about 1,000 steps back. And now we don't know where we are. We should have just taken a step back at the start to avoid all that, but instead, we've ended up way behind the starting line.
Yeah, where people are lapping us. New Zealand is lapping us. We're still walking backwards. And so other places who are like, all right, listen, it's going to take a medieval style lockdown to deal with this. So let's just do it. Let's medieval style lockdown with the technology we have. And now those places are like, judging, we're having festivals, suck it, rest of the world.
Yeah, pool parties.
Yeah, pool parties.
And all sorts of stuff.
Man, all kinds of stuff. So, shout out to those countries who managed it well. But yeah, it's really crappy to be in one of the places that's not.
Yeah, it's okay for me though. I've been all right throughout it. I mean, I guess I've just found ways to adapt. I'm probably luckier than some. I guess I got a girlfriend at the start of lockdown, which was nice. Yeah. That was a big thing to enter a relationship at the start of lockdown.
Oh, perfect.
That's like the way to do it, really.
Yeah. As opposed to those ones that were sort of like iffy heading in. Yeah. Could go either way. Oh, I've heard a lot of stories about those ones where it's like, what's the best thing that happened to you in lockdown? Like, I broke up with my boyfriend halfway through or whatever. Like, okay.
Yeah. And it's usually they were living together and it just went bad.
Oh, it'd just be so brutal in like the tense conditions and you're stuck there and you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Oof. Ken, well, I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear that still going strong. Valentine's Day coming up. You got something planned? She won't hear this. This won't come out for a while.
We're actually separated right now, as in not romantically. We're separated geographically in that she's way up north in Cumbria with her parents because of the whole London. That London went like to shit for Christmas, so she just got out and.
Smart.
We're not together physically, but we're doing a lot of Zooms and stuff.
Yeah, and how is that going? Is that okay?
Yeah, all right. It's all right. It's as good as Zoom can be. Once you've spent a lot of time together in person, Zoom doesn't quite have the same, No.
No.
You miss just being in the same room with all
Yeah, baby, the spark.
the spark, the free-flowing conversation, the
Spark
ability to
doesn't
do more stuff, it's
Yeah.
kind of, but we're getting by. We're getting by.
That's really tough, but I guess that's what everyone sort of is dealing with
Yes.
who's in that sort of situation. And I got to say, it does stink. I guess I was away from my current wife for like a 6-month period
Whoa.
or so. During
6
like
months.
during sort of like the beginning, like during year 2 of our relationship. It was like during university times, and it was really tough. But we are still going, so we made it through. But yeah, I can see, and that was like before Zoom was invented, I guess.
That's
It would have been really tough, but we still had email, just a little bit of an earlier version of the internet that we were dealing with.
Yeah,
But enough of this pandemic talk. Let's talk about Ken Cheng. Where are you from? Who are you guys? Where'd you come from? Tell us your story. I just listened to your 2 parts of your Chinese comedian radio bits, and so I know half the tale, but we should tell the listeners in case they don't know. Let's bring them back. This is like the WTF portion.
WTF portion. Where should we start?
So, which part of thing are you from?
Of Britain.
The UK. Britain,
the UK.
England.
Yeah. I was born in a place called Cambridge. You might know it because of the university and the legacy of that.
Oldest in the English-speaking world.
That's right. And you know how important it is to be the oldest something. Everyone seems to pride themselves on that.
Older is better, right? That's just...
Yeah.
It's just locked in.
Yeah, exactly. It stood up for that long. It must be good.
I mean, I guess so. Yeah, good bricks.
Good bricks. So yeah, grew up in Cambridge, and
so is this a Cambridge accent? Is that what you would say that you have?
I don't know what my accent
called?
is. It kind of goes all over the place, to be honest. I think it is quite neutral. Sometimes I sound more American though, because I've just watched so much American content, you know, and so I think sometimes
it's the reverse Madonna. What happened to you?
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I just have some people think I have a Chinese accent. I don't think I do. I don't know how I would have ended up with one because I was born in the UK. Mm-hmm. So I think people just assume it is a Chinese accent. I think it's just a bit of a weird accent.
Yeah, sort of. That happens to certain people when they do, if you consume a lot of content. Some like American people who grow up in certain heavily accented regions with just like a general American accent.
Yeah.
They're like, how does that happen? We're like, I don't know, I just watched a lot of TV. Like, oh, that
exactly.
Really? That much TV? Like, yeah, that much TV. You're like, okay. That's cool.
Exactly. That's what I've got. That's what happened to me. Too much friends.
Yeah.
As a teenager, you know.
That's a good frame of reference. You can make a lot of good connections that way. Reference pop culture wise.
Yeah, a lot of people have watched Friends, it turns out. It's a little pretty popular back then.
Pretty popular show. I'm not ashamed to admit that I've purchased the entire series on DVD multiple times, not for myself.
Wow.
But for my aforementioned wife, who was a fan. And, you know, you got to have it. You got to have the whole series to just
That's good.
Watch before bed or whatever.
Yeah. How do you feel that's all now on Netflix?
I'm fine because, we gotta have the Netflix now. We cut the cable. Now we're just a streaming service family. So, we are Netflix, Disney Plus, and I think
that's just the two.
Crave TV in Canada. So that's like we get some HBO. It's a Canadian specific one, and it's basically HBO is what we get there on that one.
Never heard of that one, but there's so many now. There's so many streaming services.
Well, how would you get HBO in the UK? Like, would you get it on the HBO app?
I don't think you can.
How are you going to watch Game of Thrones, mate?
Oh, I mean, I find ways.
Sneaky.
Find ways. I think that's on Now TV, which is an offshoot of Sky. Mm-hmm.
So that's probably a similar thing.
Yeah, I think that's the equivalent of what we've got in Canada.
Crave,
but
TV.
I've subscribed to Netflix and nothing else, and I probably don't technically need Netflix because I do find cheeky ways of getting stuff.
And also within Netflix, if you have a VPN or access to something like that, where you can spoof your location to a different location, you can access different Netflix, which is very interesting. And apparently, the Mexican Netflix is the one you want to hit up because they just throw everything onto that one. They're like, who cares? We'll just throw it onto Mexican Netflix. No one's watching it or whatever. I don't know, but they apparently have a ton more than anybody else. So if you're doing that, go check out Mexican Netflix if you haven't tried it.
Okay, I'll check it out. Apparently, there's a cheat where you can sign up to Netflix using a VPN and get it 4 times cheaper, and then you change back to your native region.
Yeah, so you like subscribe in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, and it's like $2 a month.
Yeah, and you use your Sri Lankan bank account to pay for it, and then you just stream. That's genius. Like internet's really figuring it out. Like with some of this stuff, like the Reddit thing happened. It's like internet's using its power for different things. Yeah, realizing what it can do.
For some people, it's taking on Wall Street. For some people, it's saving $6 a month on Netflix. It's different aims,
levels,
different objectives.
Yeah, different. It's like one's more a personal preference, one's more societal.
Yeah. Equally powerful ways to stick it to the system, I say.
Yeah, that's true. Sticking it to Netflix is one thing. Sticking it to hedge funds is another. Even though most hedge funds still made a lot of money, and most retail investors still got really, really hurt by that.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Did you get involved?
No.
GameStop?
No, I'm a buy and hold ETF steady kind of thing.
ETFs, they're the real deal.
Well, just like a boring, I don't know what to do.
Boring passive investor making tons of money without doing anything.
My first buy-in was like right before a crash, so it was like immediately digging myself out of a hole. But since then, it's been fine. Because I'm like, doesn't matter. It's like you're just buying and holding. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do all that. Oh no, what happened?
Where's the excitement?
Yeah, where's the excitement? That's true.
Checking the graph every 5 seconds.
That's right. I want that line. The line, Ken, is it green?
Is it up? Is it down?
Oh man, 4 monitors, all with a ton of graphs on them, and just like 4 keyboards, each with like 3 open cans of Red Bull next to it.
That is the life. I think some of my friends bought GameStop, and some made quite a lot.
Yeah, definitely there was a chance to make money. And it's funny because I saw some people like early on TikTok were like, yeah, this was amazing. I got in at 70, got out at 90, made $394. Check me out. And then like the next day it was like 260 or something. Like I would love to see what video that person made. Like, what'd you do after that? Did you put that 390 in? What's going on with that? Do you feel like you missed out? Do you feel like you did good? Yeah. Still feel like you did good? So, but then like all the Robinhood people got screwed with the delay, right?
Oh yeah.
So that didn't come out till after, right? So at the beginning it looked like, huzzah, Robinhood people prevail. But then they're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna hold this because there's a bit of a delay with all the thing. And oh, sorry, it plunged again.
He can't sell. Sorry,
can't sell, and it plunged, and you left a lot of money. Sorry. Oops, sorry. That's why you don't play with that kind of stuff. That's why you stick to something safe and good, like poker. Like
Bitcoin. Oh, like poker, yeah.
This is my smooth segue into poker.
That's a great segue.
How'd you get into poker? When did you start playing? How long you been playing?
Ooh. Yeah, I started when I was 17 in school.
Okay.
Or 17, basically about to turn 18. I started playing with friends. And one of them, we only played we played during school lunch times, and we bet with Skittles instead of chips.
Beautiful.
Which was fun. Yeah, that was interesting. And we eventually raised the stakes to real money. And then...
Was that allowed at your school?
No, we stopped playing within school, and we started playing... I guess, not technically allowed, but they're not going to really police it during lunchtime.
Right, okay, yeah, because ours was policed if they saw any money, but if it was Skittles or whatever other alternatives that we used, which we did, then it was fine. So it's like, yep, we're just playing with these candies or whatever, but each candy was really worth $1. So then at the end, we would have an account of who actually won, and you get your payout, but... a little bit of
the original Bitcoin candies.
Exactly. It's a blockchain system.
Money.
Wait, my dollar. That was $1. You just ate it.
$1 per Skittle. Wow, the inflation.
So you started at 17, and I guess the listeners don't know, but you're quite good at maths.
Yes, I've always been quite a mathsy brain. I was always good at maths in school, so poker has a lot of maths in it. So yeah, I think a friend started playing online, put some money online. So I put some money online and just kept going. Yeah, kept going after that.
You were grinding it out. So what was your?
Right.
So were you playing it smart? Did you like only bet a certain small percentage of your stack? Were you playing cash tables? Were you playing tournaments? Were you playing on Poker Stars?
Yeah, Poker Stars is where I started. I think I started off playing quite recklessly. I was very dumb.
Yeah,
didn't know much about the game, but then
you got to learn
I
about
started
your
reading.
rack management.
Yeah, bad bankroll management.
Bankroll, yeah.
I started reading more about the game, started understanding more, started going online onto online forums, learning about it, and then eventually just got better and better, and yeah, just kept going with it.
And then, so when did you feel like you were good enough to take on the poker world as a real thing?
Yeah, so I did a year at uni and then dropped out after my first year of university.
What did your parents think of that?
Not too sold on this poker schmoker angle.
Right.
But I think they were less strict than other parents because some would say you have to stay in uni or we won't support you. But I guess they did end up supporting me.
Beautiful. Shout out to the parents like that will actually do that. Not gonna dirty dancing dad you or whatever. Like, just follow your dream. We know you're good. We know you're smart. You're gonna eventually figure out the right thing. We just got to support you if this isn't the right thing. If you fall on your face, we're like, kind of, we told you so. Want to try it again?
That's what they were hoping for.
That's the kind of stuff that, you hope to be as a parent, you hope to have as a kid. So it's great to hear when that does happen.
Yeah, that was great.
So what was your first big, do you ever play in a live tournament? Or is it all online?
I played a live tournament a couple of times. I never won anything from live tournaments, but mostly online. Mostly online for me.
Yeah. And what was your biggest coup for online?
Oh.
You're playing the Sunday Million?
I never played the Sunday Million. My biggest tournament win was probably winning a $20 tournament for like 12,000 maybe.
Yeah,
or something.
That's huge.
I was good, but yeah. I mean, the thing is, it used to be a lot easier, and you could probably make a lot more back then.
Yeah, during the boom.
The boom, yeah.
Like the Echo boom or whatever, where poker was on TV. It was like treated like a
everywhere.
sport on all of this stuff. Yeah.
We had that late night poker just on TV all the time.
All the time. Just like, what's on TV late night? It's poker.
Exactly.
Like,
every channel, weirdly.
Yeah, weirdly. It was like just during the boom, right? So that gets everybody going, and so there's a lot of fish, Ken.
All the lingo. You're big into poker.
Yeah, I was in the boom just like everyone else.
Yeah.
But I started in like high school as well. But it was like a live game, and it was before the boom, so it was like pre-boom.
Ooh.
Right around like when Rounders
about
boom.
To come
out.
Boom,
Rounders.
Boom.
So that's the boom I'm talking about. So I was playing. So I was just getting into it right when Rounders came out. So it hit me huge. Pay that man his money.
Pay that man his money.
Just great stuff.
Check me.
Know that like line for line or whatever. Watched it a ton.
Yeah, I watched that. Rewatched it at the start of lockdown, I think.
Oh, really? So it's a recent sort of rewatch. How does it hold up? I haven't seen it in a few years.
It's good. It's good. Yeah, it's a very solid movie.
Yeah, Edward Norton, just such
Edward Norton's
piece of
character.
shit.
But yeah, real piece of shit. Worm.
I've been working on my. It was like first thing he says when he gets out, like, been working on my shit. Like, oh no, gonna screw up Matt Damon's life.
Get you in loads of trouble.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. Good poker times. You end up playing poker, and then how does comedy play into it?
Comedy came as a complete surprise for me. I just signed up to a random gig. I was never expected to do comedy as a kid. But when I was 21, I just signed up to a gig just on a whim, and it went well, so I just kept doing it. Yeah, it was another thing where I was like, oh, that was fun. I'll keep doing it and see where it goes. I never had a plan for it. Even for several years after that gig, I'd probably still never planned to make it my job, but then eventually more things happened, and I started getting more paid work and more opportunities on radio and TV, like the radio series you mentioned. Eventually it became my primary thing for a while. And
now what's your primary thing? Twitch?
I think sort of. unknown because
Okay,
I was gonna move away from comedy when lockdown started because there was just no comedy, but then they kind of threw me a few jobs to kind of keep me back in. The comedy gods just decided we're just gonna he's quitting comedy, no way, we're gonna throw him just a big job, a big TV gig that will keep him interested. So I essentially don't know for the next year, but probably comedy is paying like reasonably well for me to keep going for a bit more, or has paid well with like a few specific gigs. But you never know with comedy because you are reliant on like big gigs, big TV show filmings and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we were in a boom, like a comedy boom, right when the thing hit. So who knows how that's going to affect the boom, right? So it seems like the boom has continued its strength online. Like a lot of people have like pivoted to video, and it's sort of picked up where it left off. There's like a lot of demand, like I was saying, for that content, for laughs and funny stuff. And then I'm sure when normal life resumes to whatever it's going to be, the demand for live performance is going to go through the roof, at least in the short term, from the people who are starved from it. And then it'll sort of even out from there. But like we'll have to wait and see. Like we're in an unprecedented situation, Ken.
Yeah, who knows when comedy will come back?
There's no graph. There's no graph.
There's no graph. We have nothing to base it on. We have purely like we could look back to the 1918 pandemic, but I don't think we can learn much about comedy audiences back then.
No, they didn't. Barely any of the content was online.
Yeah, exactly. It's not useful. I don't know what's going to happen with live comedy. It's over here really, because I think people do love it, but
they love it, especially over there. They need it. They need it, and it's a different kind of thing where it's like in day-to-day life, people are more inclined to want to like be funny or be like cutting, extremely cutting to be funny or whatever, like that snarky edge or whatever. And people, I think, especially over there in the UK, really crave that. Like when I was living there, it took me a while to adapt, where I was like just sort of like maybe like thin-skinned at the beginning and be like, did he really have to just insult me to that degree? Like literally we just met like 2 days ago and we worked together, but like I get that everyone here is mean, but like oof, he really got me. He got me there. Good one.
Why are you being mean?
Yeah, just
what
being
is this?
So mean.
Why is everyone laughing at him?
Yeah, just like so fun. Like the meaner the funnier. And then like once I figured that out, it was a lot better. It was eye-opener. But it's just like a different sort of vibe. But I can see that, I can imagine that the UK audiences who have come to love the stage from days of yore on, that they'll bounce back pretty steady.
I hope so. There was some gigs in the second lockdown, kind of like there was a mid-period where you could have gigs and they were socially distanced. And actually I did one gig which was surprisingly very good and very well attended. It was like 40 people there who have come out in like probably some of the riskiest times to come out to just go to a gig, and they craved it.
Yeah, that's when people really needed it. Whereas like I saw some of my comedian friends performing at those like outdoor shows here, and I was like, well, should people really be like out, gathering together? But also I get like I would go, if I didn't have like a baby or whatever. If I was like 20 something and didn't have anybody, it was just like me, maybe I would go and see a comedy show because I haven't been outside in months or whatever, and I'm kind of losing my mind. And looks like it's distance. Looks, they're wearing masks or whatever, However people rationalize their risky behavior. Like, look, everyone was wearing masks except for when they were drinking, except for when they were eating, and except for when they were laughing really loud sometimes.
Yeah, there's the bare minimum being put in to make it feel kind of safe, but not really.
Yeah, that's what I like. Just like the sticker that says it's safe.
Yeah,
but
that was enough.
Yeah, it's enough for some people. So I'm glad that you were able to get out there, flex the muscle, however so shortly. But you gotta keep it going, right? Because now everyone's been atrophied. Their live muscle, when everyone steps on that stage for the first time, it's gonna be almost like the first time again.
Yeah, I think so. I've got I've not done it for like 5-6 months now, and I've got a Zoom gig coming up, and even that's a bit. I mean, I've done so few Zoom gigs.
I was going to ask if you've done it before, if you've done a Zoom show before.
I've done like 1 or 2, and they've been always a bit weird. So I'm not a big fan, so I haven't taken many up. But this one I had to basically say yes because it was a paid one. So I was like, okay, well, I have to do this, but I'm not good at the craft right now.
Yeah, especially especially this format or whatever. Like it's completely different where there's no immediate response.
Yep.
Where you can feed off of and be like, yes, this is the direction that I'm pivoting, and you're coming along. Where it's like no response. Oh, that person smiled here. Okay, that maybe was good. I don't know.
And
Are you on mute?
No, exactly. And like all your stand-up is like written and performed by default to a rhythm that only works in a live format. So you're going to have to work out how to adjust it subtly without doing too much work.
Yeah, your breaks for the laughs that you're not getting have to be timed differently.
Yeah, and you have no idea how to time it because people are laughing in their own homes probably, but
inside
just
their bubble. But you don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
yep.
In performing in a vacuum would be nuts.
Yeah. That's why I prefer Twitch because it's evolved naturally from the idea of the internet. And actually, I think the average person will enjoy watching a Twitch stream more than a Zoom gig.
Right. Yeah, that makes more sense. And there's more of usually a Twitch streamer can have like another one on, and there's a couple people usually talking back and forth, or there's a few people even audio with the person who's on video. So that adds the whole. It's like a live podcast or whatever.
Exactly. It's everything. It's just much more natural and like a Zoom gig. You're just kind of questioning why am I speaking like this? What is stand up really? What is going on?
Yeah, it's true. Because are you going to stand up even? Like, or are you just sitting?
No, I'll be sitting at my desk, which I'm on I'm on my chair right now that I'll be using for the gig. It's no different.
You're just on stage right now.
Yeah, I'm already on stage for this podcast, so it's going to be surreal.
It's kind of nuts. Do you have a fancy light for broadcasting yourself? Do you have a nice
setup?
Yeah, I have
a ring light. Oh yeah.
I got a little one for Christmas, but I think I need a bigger one.
Yeah, mine's quite small.
And it works for you fine?
It's done the job.
All you need to do is create that little bit of drop shadow light or whatever it is. Light that dark space.
Yeah. I don't know what you're saying, but I'll go with it.
You need a good light, and you need a little tripod to put it on, maybe.
Mine attaches to the desk.
Oh, that's better.
Like little clamps to the desk.
I also need one of those clamps with the arm that hangs with the mic. Do you have that?
I've got one of those.
Yeah.
I've got one of those.
That's
It's really reduced the noise coming out of stuff.
Yeah, that's good because I have mine on like just a regular stand, but that's like basic bitch shit. Everyone's got the arm connected.
The arm, it's important. You gotta have your arm, Stephen.
You can pull it down in front of your face like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, you can do all sorts of stuff with it.
Like if Joe Rogan's doing it, right?
It must be good.
That's what I take all my cues from.
You are the most similar person to Joe Rogan.
I'm shaving my head right now. I'm doing spoonfuls of creatine.
Yeah. I hope you get Elon Musk on your show.
I mean, yeah, I'd smoke him up.
Yeah. Great moment in history right there.
That was wild, and it created a great a meme. He's a very memeable man, that Musk.
Yeah, he is. Whether he's like
trying
destroying
to
his,
or not.
Oh yeah, whether he's destroying his own stock price by tweeting it's too high.
He wasn't wrong though, wasn't it?
No, he wasn't wrong.
He was
probably correct.
Yeah. Well, it was all the government subsidies that he's getting. It was inflating it again.
Yeah.
Those government subsidies. But, I mean, hey, who wouldn't want to work with him? He almost saved those kids in the cave, right?
Yeah, by calling the guy a pedo.
What a goofball. What a goofball.
What a goofball.
Well, he's got his own cryptocurrency, too, now, right? Like
does he?
He just came out as the guy from Dogecoin.
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 Yeah.
Much coin, much crypto. Wow. Very.
Yeah, is that going to be rising loads? Dogecoin? Is that what's happening? Is that the next?
It already did rise loads once it was determined that he was involved in it. That was the big news. So he had kept that under wraps, and then sort of that came out, and then it boosted it. So I think right now it could be even overvalued, but I don't know much about the crypto space.
No, I don't have enough. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have enough disposable income to invest in all that.
It's so cool, though. It's so interesting. I want one of those
crazy.
electronic wallets that is just a USB key, and it's a catchphrase that opens it up, but it's a secret cryptic code.
If you get a book in a bookshelf that reveals it.
Yeah, I want
Hide
that.
it
I
in
want to
the book in the
pull the
bookshelf.
book back, and then all of a sudden my bank of mining rigs is revealed. My crypto wallet displays the current totals on the wall. Pretty neat.
That's a dream.
Yeah, it's the dream. So yeah, maybe I'll try buying 0.000000001 Bitcoin later this week.
Yeah.
Now's the time to buy. The best time was 20 years ago. The second best time is now.
That is a true fact.
That old saying. So we briefly touched upon your time in Cambridge where you studied maths.
Yes.
And
you did the maths. You know, sometimes
I did it the first time, and it is
a
controversial subject.
Well, here's the thing I don't like to admit among British people is that I actually prefer calling it math. I like the phrase "do the math."
Yes,
it's much more powerful. Do the math.
Yeah, you can't
powerful.
say "do the maths."
Yeah,
you
do
need
the
that
math.
hard end. You need the hard. Do the math.
Yeah, I have no issue with it. I'm not anti-American as many of my British friends are.
I'm torn, and it's weird that we say math in Canada because we do all the British stuff. We spell things with a U, all that good stuff.
You do. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, but there's certain words like, we don't say boot and bonnet or all that weird stuff. We don't say lift. There's a bunch of British words that we don't say. I just think it's weird when there are ones that we adapt from America and
That's true.
that we didn't adapt from Britain. We were like, no, math is better. But math and trunk, yes. Math and boot, forget it.
Do you say pavement?
Yeah.
You say pavement? Okay.
Yeah, we say pavement, I think. We use like asphalt or like road.
We never say sidewalk, but I actually prefer.
Sidewalk. Yeah, no, we would say sidewalk.
Oh, we call that the pavement.
I was thinking pavement like, that is the material that is used to create
we call
the
the
structure.
sidewalk the pavement.
Okay, yeah, see, that's a different one. That's different. Yeah. We're breaking down barriers, and that's an interesting one that I'd never thought of.
Yeah, it doesn't come up that much.
Doesn't come up. But I was trying to loop back to Cambridge because I have a bullet. You're in the Footlights, or you directed a Footlights tour.
Yeah, I was kind of involved in comedy. Well, I started comedy in the Cambridge scene, so I did a lot of stuff with the Footlights. I wasn't technically a Footlight, but that stuff doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. I consider you an honorary Footlight.
Thanks. I think even the idea of a Footlight matters less and less now than it did like back in the day when it was just the Footlights were the only 21-year-olds who entered the comedy industry and just got given a TV show off the bat. That was like Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie. Nowadays, like hundreds of people claimed they were a part of Footlights, and everyone's like, who cares?
Yeah. That's I mean, I guess that's the same thing as what is that? The Groundlings in the US.
Yeah, the Groundlings.
Similar thing. Like Groundlings used to be like, yo, you're a Groundling, you made it to the main company. Hello, it's SNL. You're either going to SNL or Mad TV if you're not that good. What are you gonna do? But then then everyone's like, oh, of course, as long as you're a Groundling, you're in. Perfect. But then obviously that stops once a million people are in the Groundlings.
Is that a Canadian thing, the Groundlings?
No, it's only American. Yeah,
okay.
we have. I guess we
Second
have.
City.
Yeah, we have one. SCT.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been to the Second City, Toronto.
Yeah, it's a nice place. Shout out to my friend Natalie, who's directing the most recent review before lockdown. Fun. Yeah, she's great. Natalie Metcalf at Nana Metcalf on Twitter. Everybody, go check her out. Second
nice.
City.
I'll check it out. Check it out.
Even though it's technically a Chicago thing, a lot of Canadians. It's sort of like Chicago, Toronto. All those Harold Ramis crew, Bill Murray guys. They all came out of there.
Yes, they did.
That
they
crew,
did.
Gilda Radner, Dan Aykroyd, you know all those guys.
I may have come across them back in the day.
Yeah, you know about them during your deep research into North American culture.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I know them from. All that research. I studied them.
Yeah, during your studying of comedy when you got into it, you just dove right in. The deep history. So what are your comedy influences? Who are your top guys?
Ooh, top guys. I
Or,
really like James Acaster.
All
I don't know if
right,
you've
yeah,
come across it.
local chap.
Yep. Yep. Now that he's pretty globally well known, that's really cool for him. I think I first saw his show in like 5, 6 years ago now, maybe 7 years ago, but in the Edinburgh Fringe, which
Yeah.
is where all comedians kind of make their stuff.
You got to cut your teeth.
Cut their teeth. That's the phrase I was trying to go for when I said make your stuff.
Make your stuff, cut your teeth.
The same. Make your stuff.
Good
The
equivalent.
Yeah. It's actually a British phrase that you might not have heard of. Make your stuff.
Oh yeah, Churchill said it.
Yeah. We're going to make our stuff.
We will make our
beaches.
stuff.
Yeah, they cut that out of the Gary Oldman version, but
You just couldn't
it's in
nail
there.
that one night.
Yeah, Gary Oldman couldn't get there. But that's I saw Acaster like 7 years ago. I think that was quite influential. But I think Acaster has had a massive influence on a lot of British comedians. That it's almost a cliche to say that you like.
Yeah.
It's a massive cliche to say that you like or was influenced by him in any way.
Correct. So that's sort of, I would say, like a Mike Birbiglia type influence for a lot of American comedians.
I am massively influenced by Birbiglia.
I'm sure
as
it's a
well.
global influence for Birbiglia now. I mean, now that he is actually blew up. But before, like, he was sort of more, like local and comedy. And as he grew each level, people are like, oh, yeah, it's more and more. And then all of a sudden, there's a lot of like Birbiglia.
Birbiglia ripoffs.
Yeah, wannabes, ripoffs, or whatever. But it's such it's you got to have this very specific voice and skill to pull that kind of thing off. So
Yeah, totally. I think Birbiglia isn't that well known over here still. I think British people sort of don't really ingest that much comedy from outside of Britain, like stand up outside of Britain. Mm-hmm. They know more because there's so many big British comedians.
Yeah, there's a ton, and even
they're fine with that.
Other like colonies, I would say, like you would in England maybe know more Australian, New Zealand comedians than we would here, kind of thing.
Yeah,
because I think they tour there more than they would like make it all the way over here.
We have a link there. We don't have that many. Like, but Birbiglia does come to the UK and does a couple shows every time he does a tour, but not. And they sell out, but it's only a couple of shows. He doesn't stay for that long.
Yeah, it's not his major theater run like he does in the States.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Birbiglia, I think, inspired a couple of my shows on how to do a personal storytelling show.
Yeah.
He just does so well.
Yeah, you did a great. I watched your bit about the two birds, one stone. I'm not sure what that's like your main one that comes up on.
Yeah, that's from. I don't really do stuff like that anymore, but that was
just you could tell that it was like so tightly written. Like the beats were all meted out, and you were just nailing every single one. And even at the part where it's like you do the extending riff, you're like, all right, this is where it feels like the joke is done, but listen,
there's more.
I have a lot more, and it's gonna make a lot of sense, and I've got to wrap it all up at the end, Birbiglia style, with a great callback. Boom.
Yeah.
So you can see like the seeds of how you could grow into a storytelling comedian with that the skills that you were showing in that clip.
Yeah, and I think with my shows, I went more into talking about myself and talking about my family and stuff. Like, and that was the difference between that clip and then like the radio shows, which was like 15 minutes of you talking about your experience. Yes, exactly. Yeah, the radio show. Like the thing about the radio show, I pitched the idea that I would talk about my experiences, but I hadn't really done it yet, so I had to learn while writing the show. This way of doing it, which was quite challenging and actually really satisfying.
So you figured out your like method, your secret way. Be like, oh, this is like the subject I need to have at the end. Now let's reverse engineer.
Pretty much, yeah. Basically, I think it's a shame Series 2 isn't online anymore. I don't know why they keep taking it offline. But the second series, I think, I'd basically do the same, and I've more got the idea of it by that point.
Yeah. No, it was great. Really made it personal and this like very good storytelling stuff. So they'll have a link in the show notes, listeners. Don't worry. Go into the show notes, click all the links. I got links to his YouTube, his Chinese comedian special. We've got links to his Wikipedia. We've got links to
everything.
National media coverage from September 2017 when he has a Twitter thread insulting the national flag of every country in the world. Oh my God. Your ninth. Yeah. It was your ninth linked supported claim on Wikipedia, and I have the link to the thread, and I was looking at some of them. It's pretty good.
Thanks. Yeah, that was a fun. That was where I think my Twitter following really
blossomed
properly. Yeah, I think I was on like 2,000, 3,000 followers before that, and I think I went up to like 12,000.
Oh, that's the money spot. That's that money zone.
once you're over 10K, that's you're kind of fine. You don't need to worry anymore.
Once you get that K, that little K, you're good.
Yeah, that's important. The K.
Yeah, that's what that's what I work towards. I was like, I just want to get that 10K, and then I'll be good. And then once I did, I really haven't gotten much higher than that.
When did you break 10K?
I guess it was a couple years ago. I could probably tell you the date. I think I sent out a tweet saying like, "Thanks for 10K." That sort of dumb stuff.
The best thing about being over. About the K is you never notice if your followers go down unless it goes down by a whole 100. Mm-hmm. That's the best part, because I think before you could see exactly how many. You'd be like, oh damn, I've lost 3. Yeah. But now you don't have to worry ever.
Those little ups and downs that happen every day, you don't have to worry about that as much. Yeah, it's true. It was a very it was like less mental anguish every day.
Yeah, exactly. That's
if you're
the
kind
part.
of person who is anguished by unfollowers.
Yeah.
So that was very cool. So you just did a Twitter thread and you just like made fun of every flag.
Yeah. Yep, every single flag. I didn't actually finish it. I have 2 left, and I feel quite weird going back
September
to it
2021. Boom, you do one more flag and then say, come back September 2022 for the final flag. Then you have a whole year to keep bumping it'll keep bumping the thread. Maybe it'll pick up, right? Like, people love picking up old coverage of stuff that was already covered, and these blogs just are like, a man made fun of every flag. Like, is that a news story? I guess it is.
Yeah, nowadays it is.
People want to see something. Hear something.
Yeah, that's what you got to go off. Have you ever done a big thread?
Never done a big thread, no. That's like my one thing that I'm missing or whatever. I have a lot of friends who have done big threads that go viral or whatever. And then it sort of comes back. I think my friend Isabel Zatun, friend of the show, go check out her episode, just had her thread about like people being mean to you in the workplace or whatever go viral again, and like people pick it up and a blog picks it up, and then it hits the cycle again, this big thread.
Yes.
And more people add their stuff to it. And then, maybe in the next article, people pluck those clips out because they're like, look what this person said too. Like, because that's the good thing about the thread is there's all these replies that you can bulk up your article with.
Gift that keeps on giving.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. So you did a great thread, and now, boom, zeitgeist forever.
Yeah, I hope so. People still bring it up weirdly, yeah.
Did anybody get real mad?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of nationalists out there who care. And the flag means different things in different cultures. So, like, I think it would sometimes reach the nationalist portion of, like, a certain country. And I get, for, like, maybe a couple days, a lot of replies from that country's population. Like, I think India, obviously, India's a huge country.
A lot of people there.
In terms of population, so that makes sense. But also quite a nationalist country in general. So there were definitely a lot of people who were angry about that flag.
Yeah.
Another one, I think, a smaller one was probably one of the Balkans, like Serbia, I think really kicked off.
Real strong national instinct. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've been through a lot, those countries.
That's
so
tough,
fair enough. So they can get kind of the context of what the joke was. So they were just like, well,
like, why is this guy just being? Why is he just being mean?
Why is everyone laughing at this?
Just this UK guy. He's just so mean about our flag.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess because of the language barrier as well.
It's tough.
They can't see the context. It's like, okay, I'm roasting every flag.
It's equal opportunity. Yeah, it's not like you're just like just your flag. Like, that is the best part about the bit, is that you can't get mad at it because you made fun of your own flag.
Exactly. Yet people do.
I agree. Yeah. Well, like you said, the flag means different things to different people.
Yeah. People did.
People, yes, they definitely did. And that's the thing you might notice about posting online on the internet.
It is annoying.
So, what's the worst hater stuff that you've dealt with? I know that you deal really openly with all the racist bullshit that you put up with. What's the worst hater that you've had to deal with?
Ooh. I think I noticed someone who kept replying to my stuff even way after I muted them. I noticed they were replying to every tweet for ages. I muted them, and then I noticed that because someone was like, "Who's this person?" Someone replied to their tweet, so I was like, "Oh, hold on, this person's been replying to everything I've been posting for months," and that's quite nice to be like, well, I didn't have to read any of that.
Yeah, yes, definitely nice, and it's nice to know that you're inspiring people to connect, reach out to connect every day.
Yeah. I haven't had to deal. I've had to deal with quite a lot every time a tweet goes viral. If I tweet about race, then it will just Well, anything on a certain side of the culture war, really, you can just end up in the pocket of a certain part of Twitter where they're just sending people at you, essentially.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. When you get a squad of people or cronyism, or get attacked by a mob, a crazy mob, that kind of stuff happens, and it can be super misguided and get out of control. Be like, oh no, he just said that he didn't like bicycles, and somehow that got translated into he wanted to kill the head of what? No, that's not. No, it was banana telephone or whatever, broken telephone online. People just get crazy, or they don't even. You don't read the thing, you just read the headline, the sensational headline.
Exactly. Have you had a lot of haters?
I get some haters, but it's not probably anywhere as near as what everyone else has to deal with, women.
I guess wordplay. Wordplay is not as...
I try to stay pretty apolitical. I mean, I get in there a little bit.
Yeah.
But not too much. Because, it can get misconstrued, taken out of control if you really don't, if you're not convinced with what your argument is, you don't have proper backup and information at your disposal.
Yeah,
it's so hard.
And ultimately, you are only tweeting 280 characters. It's so hard to.
You can never win an online argument. No.
Yeah,
and that's the problem with it. All right, Ken. Oh my goodness, it's already been almost an hour. Oh, we got so many bullets that I haven't. We didn't get to, but we will pick a couple of key ones and we'll talk about them. You had what's it? What one do I? Oh, you reached Diamond 2 in ranked League of Legends.
Yes, I did.
This is a huge bullet.
Was that on my agent's website? Maybe?
No, it's on your Wikipedia.
Oh, my Wikipedia. That's so random that they put that on my Wikipedia.
It must have been one of your Twitch friends.
How that gets through.
It must have been one of your Twitch friends.
Or maybe. No, I think it was on one of my bios. I used to put it on my bio, just for fun.
I bet someone just copied an old bio.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened. And I used to play League of Legends quite a lot, and I was quite good at it for someone who wasn't dedicating all their time to it.
That's good. I don't know. I've never played League of Legends. Just thought that was a really cool thing. And if any Twitch people were listening, that might be an impressive stat.
Maybe.
I'm trying to impress the listeners with all your stats, Ken.
Yeah. I love get all my stats out there.
All your stats. We need to get them out there. The links are in the show notes. I guess we should also mention your great-grandfather.
Oh, yeah. I talk about that on my show sometimes.
I copied it from your Wikipedia before I listened to it, but then I'm like, oh, he talked about it. That's great.
Yeah. So what, should I explain
it?
Yeah,
just please tell us about your great-grandfather, who was quite famous.
My great-grandfather, he was, at the time, he was, I think, the first Chinese person to have a play on at the West End. And he wrote his own play in English. He learned English on his own in China, and then he just came over to London and wrote a play, and it was quite big. But the thing is, because it was probably the 1930s, 1920s, I think, it just didn't survive. Things from then didn't survive public consciousness. So no one's heard of him now, really. But at the time, it was huge, and that's quite interesting that he he was like kind of talked about a lot, being like, oh, this Chinese play by this Chinese man was a big exciting thing at that time. But I've never heard it come up in any like talk
right. You
about.
haven't heard it, and anyone outside like your family or whatever talk, like just bring it up or happen upon it in like a TV show or something where they're doing that play.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a very impressive feat in terms of like, just coming over with no knowledge of UK. Yeah.
Especially being self-taught. You said, like, that's truly like bootstraps, great story. Like, that's the American dream or whatever.
Yeah. And I didn't know this until about like 3 or 4 years ago when I was just talking to my parents about it. And so I didn't know I had that connection like creatively, that I'm now in the creative arts. My great grandfather was. That hadn't entered my mind when I was entering into creative arts. I never picked that up from any of my family, but it clearly is there underneath somewhere.
And you get a dang shout out in his Wikipedia page.
Do I?
You're the last.
I didn't know they had updated that much. Yeah, there's a book about him that a friend, I think, a member of like that kind of Chinese academic community in the UK wrote about the history of him and his wife, which is quite interesting, and just talks about
too was mentioned.
That journey.
Yeah, she did something too. She translated or she did something. She was on his Wikipedia page. Yeah,
his wife. Yes.
So like they're both like pretty high achieving. People at the time. Really facing all like the discrimination and everything from back in the day. And he gets hired. Oh, so the part of that I wanted to mention from your bit is where you mentioned how they asked him to tone down the Chinese-ishness of the play.
Yes, and which is the exact same thing a producer asked me to do.
Oh my God, it comes full circle.
Yeah. Like, someone asked them to do that. Someone asked me to. I think it was the opposite, actually.
Up it?
I think up the Chinese-ishness, because he just wanted to make an English play.
Right.
And they were like, no, put on all the Chinese stuff. And I think someone said that to me at the BBC to be like, can you like focus on the Chinese stuff more? Which is how I ended up talking about China a lot. It probably wasn't a big part of my identity in general.
And now?
Now I talk about it all the time for the clicks, for the likes, for the show.
Huge,
Chinese comedian as a brand.
I was going to say, you can link your Alibaba on the on the website.
Yeah.
You get your free Supreme knockoff merch sent right to your door.
Alibaba, Weibo, all that stuff, 10-cent shares, anything China related.
You knew where Jack Ma was the whole time.
I've been performing privately for him.
It's the only Zoom show that you don't mind doing.
Yeah, that's what I've got coming up.
Well, Ken, I wanted to thank you so much for being on the podcast and being one of the new guests of the new podcasts. To help me get it
better, right?
Kicked off. Yeah, better than ever. Better guests, better conversations, more bullet points discussed, more links in the show notes. So go to the show notes and click on all of the links. We got Ken Cheng, Chinese comedian. We got his YouTube. We got links to his tweets. That thread about the flags. Oh, man, go in and look at some of the mean replies. Because now you can click and see the quote tweets, too. So go do that. Go check out the plays by his great-grandfather if they're ever staged in your town. I think that might be it. What do you think?
Great.
Did we cover it all?
I think so. I think you covered my entire life in an hour.
We covered your entire life and the lives of others, some others, in that hour. So I guess now I will play the podcast theme and we'll say our goodbyes. So, Ken, thanks again. And everyone go check him out at Ken Cheng Comedy on Twitter. And is it Ken Cheng Comedian? Ken Cheng
Comedy.
Comedy, yeah, I was right. So
you were right. You got it.
Follow him on Twitter. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode with Ken. He was so great. I deeply recommend checking out his comedy. Link in the show notes. And if you see him at at the poker table, maybe just fold. Now, if you're a new listener, wow, thank you. Send me a note. Or you can go check out all the past episodes at www.stephenwskinner.com. or find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Podnick. Please remember, leave a rating and review, but only if it's 5 stars. Now go check out all the links in my bio, lots of extra show content. Follow at FOTS Pod on Twitter to find out about all the new episodes. And go ahead and follow me at Skinner Steven on Twitter. Now, thank you to Ruby Coast for the music. Thank you to Kyle I. Davidson for the theme. And thank you so much for listening. I am Stephen W. Skinner. Have a great one.